Alright, so two new DLCs were dropped in a Snowrunner, and in this video we're gonna review them. The Kenworth W990 truck and the Jack of all trades DLC, which is a DLC for tires and rims. First, let's start with Kenworth W990. So Kenworth W990, it's a heavy truck with a very powerful engine and it's very fuel efficient. You have 4 options for engines and 4 for gearboxes, and this truck has Kenworth W990 tires, which I think according to the stats are the best tires for this truck. I'm not sure, but I think it is. And for the add-ons, you have access to good amount of add-ons. You can have the crane and the bed at the same time, and you can attach trailers to your truck. And you have just a majority of the add-ons that normal trucks have in a Snowrunner. And for the customizations, you have access to some good customizations. And you have a trunk repair supplies, which gives you 300 repair parts and 140 liters of fuel. Now, the disappointing part of this truck. Now, this truck looks very good in my opinion, and it sounds even better. I really like the way this truck looks and sounds, and the interior is actually very beautiful too. I really like this interior. I think it looks good, but there is one problem with this truck. Well, kinda two, but first let's start with the biggest problem. You don't have all-wheel drive. Yes, this truck doesn't have all-wheel drive, and it doesn't perform that good in mud or snow or in harsh terrain overall. And I'm not sure about this one, but when the truck is empty, you're not carrying any load, it feels very slippery. I don't know, is it because of this specific tire, the Kenworth tires? But the truck feels a bit slippery. It feels like you are driving on ice. But now the performance is not awful, I'm gonna have to say. It's not that bad, but it's not the greatest either. I mean, you don't have access to, this truck doesn't have all-wheel drive, so, but for a truck that doesn't have all-wheel drive, it's not that bad, I'm gonna have to say. It's kinda like Pacific P512 PF. Kinda reminds me of that truck. But yeah, the performance could have been better, and I don't know why this truck doesn't have all-wheel drive. So for difficult regions, this truck is definitely not a good choice. Yeah, when it comes down to driving through some deep mud or deep snow, the truck doesn't perform that good. But on dirt, it's not that bad, you know, it's normal. And it's a very fast truck too. And when you're about to go through like the slightest mud, you have to go to low gears and turn on the diff lock. But overall, the performance is not that great. I mean, like let's say Voron trucks are average, Voron D, Voron AE are average. This truck is below average a bit, but it's very fuel efficient. It's fuel efficient. You have 140 liters of fuel on the roof rack, and the fuel tank capacity is 380, which is good to be honest. Now this truck is fast, but a bit difficult to control, especially when it's empty, when you're not carrying any load. Yeah, feels a bit slippery. I don't know why is it like this. Right here you can see the bad performance of this truck in mud. Literally cannot go through this area, and yep, you get stuck. And this is not that difficult, like other normal trucks can go through this area, but this one is just really struggling, so you have to use your winch just. And now the other thing that is not really good about this truck, if I can get out of here, I'm gonna show it to you. So now the other thing that is not really that good about this truck is the dead axle. Dead axles are just not that great in general in my opinion. It improves the truck's stability a bit, but look at this. you get stuck easily, and because you don't have all-wheel drive, you basically get stuck all the time with dropping the dead axle. You basically get stuck all the time when you drop the dead axle. Usually dead axles on other trucks would make you get high centered a lot, like this area for example. If I go here and drop my dead axle, I would get stuck, you see. And because if I had all-wheel drive, I wouldn't get stuck, but I don't have all-wheel drive, so it is what it is. But the good thing about it, this dead axle, is when you're not using it, it's so high up that you wouldn't get high centered that much. In other trucks like the JAT or the Western Star trucks, some of the Western Star trucks that have the dead axle, sometimes even just the existence of that dead axle would make you to get high centered. But with this truck, when you're not using it, you wouldn't get stuck that much because of the dead axle. But just don't use it, it's not good. Makes you stuck all the time. I don't know, I really don't understand why would they create a truck that doesn't have all-wheel drive, but they would add the dead axle to it. It's just awful. Like for example, in here, if I use it, I would definitely get stuck. You see? If I had all-wheel drive, it wasn't a big problem, but even with like D-flag, so don't use the dead axle. Just if I wish we could have just removed that dead axle, but we can't. Now, as I've said, one of the good things about this truck is you can have the holy mother of. So as I've said, one of the good things about this truck is you have access to, you can have the crane and bed on the truck, and you can attach trailers to your vehicle, which is good, to be honest. I doubt you can actually use it because usually when you have a trailer attached to your truck, it will decrease the performance of this truck, of your truck, and this truck already doesn't perform that good. So semi-trailers, I've tested this truck with semi-trailers. It's not that bad, to be honest. The engine is very powerful, like the engine is good, but I just don't understand why they didn't add the all-wheel drive for this vehicle. And this and this dead axle is like why we have it? Why would someone use it? I just don't understand. You get stuck no matter what, like a slightest bump, you're stuck. But it's funny. I just don't understand this, man. This truck looks good. I'm gonna, oh man. Like Royal BM17, which is a truck that doesn't have D-flag, can go through this area very easily, but this truck is kinda struggling. This dead axle is just a joke. But yeah, when you're not using it, it's, oh my god. When you're not using it, oh my, why we don't have all-wheel drive, man? I just don't get it. Yeah, when you're not using that, when you're not dropping the dead axle, it's decent. The truck can perform good, but with the dead axle dropped, oh god, you can't use it. I would assume it would get stuck even up here. I'm gonna test it real quick. Barely made it. Like if I go very slow, I cannot make it. If I go very slow, I definitely cannot make it. If I stop here, definitely cannot make it. Yeah. Yeah, if you stop, you're stuck. The dead axle is just such a pointless thing, man. So, don't use the dead axle. I wish we could just remove that dead axle, like we had the option to actually remove it, but we don't have it. And that's Kenworth W990. I would give this truck a 5 out of 10. It looks good, sounds good, good interior, as I've said, very nice, very good. Performance is just bad, unfortunately. The performance is just not that great. All right, for tires, we have option to so many tires. I haven't tested them all, but there's something that I wanna say. For the mod tires that we have, for example, on as of 73210, we have these 6 new mod tires, and I personally tested them with the DMH S2, and I didn't feel that big of a difference. There was basically no difference. I'm gonna show you the footage. This is the footage, and there wasn't a big difference between the DMHS2 and these ones. Maybe there is one that is very good that I haven't tested, but I think I've tested the MHS 5, 6. Is it 6? Yes. MHS 6, and this one, which is so expensive for some reason, MHS 3, and they weren't bad, like they weren't worse than the DMHS 2, but they were not better. It was just the same thing, to be honest. But for trucks that have Taiga tires are still better. Yeah. I think the Taiga tires are still the best tires that we can have. If your truck have access to Taiga tires, then using the Taiga tires are just the best option. Yeah, these tires are not better than Taiga tires in my opinion, as I've tested. But I'm gonna do some more tests, and if I find something interesting, I definitely would let you guys know. But we have so many new tires though. This DLC gives you so many new tires. JAT, which I think it's shortened for Jack of all trades. I'm not sure, but I think it's that. The JAT tires. We have so many of them. Mud tires, off-road tires. I didn't test off-road and all-terrain and highway tires though. Maybe those tires are actually better. But the mud tires, I don't think there is a big difference between the ones that we already have and the new ones. But for trucks like this one, TUZ Tatarin, it's good because you normally don't have any option other than the tire that you can use. There's just one option, but now you have 3 more options. I haven't tested these ones though, sorry. And there are some new Scout tires too. HS, JAT HS and JAT OS and JAT MS. We don't have any new chain tires though, as far as I know. But this DLC would give you access to good amount of new tires. I personally, for mod tires, I didn't feel any difference between the tires that we already have in the game and the ones that this DLC would give you, but maybe the highway or all-terrain tires are better than the normal ones that we already have. And you get some new rims too with this Jack of all trades DLC, both for trucks and scouts. These are the new ones for trucks, and these 2 are the new ones for scouts. So now overall, I think for the tires, I would just give 5 out of 10 to both of these DLCs, unless some of the new tires that we got are insanely good. I haven't tested all of them. I tested some of the tires and personally didn't feel that big of a difference. And that's it for today's video. I see you in the next one.